Hello, welcome to my kitchen. I thought I'd do a bit of a cook with me today. I've got a cake I want to make, I've got something bread related, and then I've got our tea sorted, which is making homemade pizzas. It is one of these days where I just fancy just spending hours just cooking food, even if it's a mixture of bits and bobs that I can then put away for later. It's been a while since I've been in this mood, and so I'm gonna make the most of it while I am. And of course, I'm sharing these recipes with you, so if there's anything that you want to give it a try or never thought about adding to, say, like a pizza or anything, then just it's fun for everyone to try. So my first call to action is to actually defrost my homemade pizza dough, which is going to be thawing for a few hours. And I completely forgot I had made homemade tomato sauce as well. So I've also got that thawing away, so by the time 6-7 o'clock, when I can actually start making tea, then it should be ready to use. So the first recipe we're starting with is lemon and lavender cake. Little cupcakes, very sweet and just very summery and very floral, and just they were just like a whim of a recipe that I just kind of threw together the other week, and the outcome was quite surprising. Like, I was very, very chuffed with it. So I'm very excited to make these again and for a few more people to try. So in a bowl you want to put in your sugar, and then you want to zest a lemon. That actually wasn't zesting as well as I thought it would. So I'm going to use a bigger zester, or grater thing. Please note I found this side to be the better side to grate it. And using clean hands, what I am doing is massaging the lemon zest in with the sugar. This will basically release the juices and just add so much more depth with the sweetness and the whole general lemony-ness of the cake. You now want to pop in the butter and then start creaming it together. And yes, that is a Halloween spatula. I don't know if you can see the little pumpkin face, but it's the best one for the job. I'm now cutting the lemon in half. And now you want to squeeze in half a lemon. Just keep an eye out for the seeds and everything. And bring it together. It will slightly curdle because of the acidity of the lemon. Which is fine. It's fine. I'm now cracking in 1 egg. Giving that a mix. And then self-raising flour. And what you want to do is just fold in the flour. If the mixture ends up feeling a little bit too thick, you can add a little bit of milk at a time. Give it a stir, and then judge if you need a little bit more milk. Just to thin it out a little bit. If you're someone who enjoys baking, especially cupcakes, I definitely recommend getting some reusable silicone cupcake cases. They're so handy. I'm not sure how many I will roughly need as of yet, because last time I did this recipe I had a little bit more mixture and I managed to get, I think, about 9 cupcakes, but I'll do 6 and we'll see if I need to add a little bit more. So I personally like to use an ice cream scoop. I feel like this helps to get a little bit more of an equal mixture in each casing. A little bit more I can put in. Just do 3 more. And in the oven it goes for about 15-20 minutes. And while the cakes are baking, I'm going to start on making some bagels. So I'm trying out a little bit more of a different bagel recipe than I tend to usually do. I'm basically trying it as a 50-50. So see, texture wise it goes and everything. So I usually just do it with the white flour, but I'm hoping this will give a little bit more, I guess, bite maybe, and because I like to do like seeded ones as well, so I think that might complement it a little bit more than just having the white, but we shall see. So I've been proving the mixture all night. I'm trying to think what time I started it. It was pretty late last night, but I did 3 or 4 like stretch and what do you call them? Stretch and folds, isn't it? Some stretch and folds. So it's got a lot of air in it, especially because that's one thing I find with using wholemeal flour, because it's a lot more denser. It doesn't bubble up as much compared to if you do white flour. So I've been trying to punch basically so much air into it. And then I did a cold proof of it throughout the night. Took it out this morning. So it is now, that clock's wrong, I think it's about, come up to 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock. And just, I think I took it out about 10, 11 o'clock. And it's looking like that, lovely and bubbly. I did 1 more stretch and fold and leave it to basically in a warm place to proof a little bit longer. So now I think it's ready. Just flour in the surface. But look how soft that is just getting out. Honestly, learning the stretch and fold technique has made a massive difference to bread making. Massive difference. Yeah, I've got clean hands, so what I'm going to do is just get a bit of knead. It's going to be quite sticky. Give it knead to bring it together. I'm going to knead it for roughly about 2 minutes, I would say. Go. So when it starts feeling a lot more softer and more elastic, I'm just going to do pull it to the side, sweeping my fingers underneath to mold it into a bit more of a ball. See, a bit more flour if needed to be. I'm so excited to try these. I love bagels. I haven't had bagels in ages because I've been on like a specific diet for pregnancy. But because I'm making these out of wholemeal, I might be able to tolerate it a little bit more than if I were to just do them standard white. That's perfect for me. Flour a little bit. And I'm going to divide it into 8. And can weigh them out if you want to be very precise, but I'm someone who eyeballs basically everything, to put it bluntly, and there's nothing wrong with one slightly more bigger and one slightly more smaller, you know? They all taste the same regardless of anything. There we go. Let's divide it into 8. And then what I'm going to do is flatten them out and start pulling them in. Oh, you can't see. But do like little pulls up like this to basically tuck it in. And then on it or on the surface. Do a little bit of the underfold, so using your finger as well. Oh, the timer. Just makes a nice little ball like that. Now you can, if you want to do bread rolls, do it like that and then let it prove. Of course, we're making bagels, so we'll make holes in them in a moment. I'm going to flatten it and then pull in the center, that in center, that in center, all the way around. Roll under the cup of your hand, and then hand sweep. So to make the holes, what you want to do is get the dough, and then just pierce a hole for it, and then using both fingers, roll it so it just stretches out. That. Keep in mind, when it's proven, it will shrink a bit more. So if you feel like you want to make the holes a little bit bigger afterwards, then you could do that afterwards as well. But that's fine for the time being, because like I said, I'd rather do it once it's proved. And then go from there. I'll put it on parchment paper. Pierce a little hole. I know there's another technique where you basically do it in a sausage, or like you roll it into a sausage and then you fold it over and kind of tuck it, but this just works well. So I'm going to cover them with a tea towel and let them prove for half an hour. Here we go, so I've taken out the cupcakes, they're all done. I've done the knife test to ensure there's no mixture that comes out when you've done it, so it's perfectly done. And they're looking lovely and spongy as well. So I'm going to allow these to cool down fully, and while we do that, we'll start making the lavender icing. So to make the lavender milk icing, what you want to do is half a cup of milk into the saucepan, and then you can do either dried lavender like I've got here, so this is fresh dried lavender from my garden, or you can do lavender tea if you've already got those to hand. So you can either just chuck in 1 or 2 of the tea bags and just let it steep in there, or like I said, just use a teaspoon of dried lavender. Like I said, mine's organic because it was grown from my garden, but definitely if you're choosing to go for the dried lavender, double check it's edible and also that it's safe and everything. And then on a low heat, you just want to let it warm through for about 8 to 10 minutes to allow all the lavender to infuse with the milk. After you feel like it's been steeped enough, allow it to cool down fully, and then we will go into straining it. Now what we want to do is strain the lavender milk mixture to remove all the lavender. Perfect time for the alarm to go off. I am just patting it down. You can use the back of a spoon. I'm just using the tongs that I have just to press it out to get a little bit more of the liquid out. I gave the sieve a clean, and I'm now using a cup of icing sugar. And dusting it in partly at a time. Just get any lumps and bumps out of the icing so it's a lot more smoother. And I'm stirring the icing sugar and the lavender milk mixture together. A lifesaver of a tool, if you have a handheld whisk like this one, does the great job as well. So that's the lavender icing done. I am going to put it in the fridge because I want to start working on the bagels. Bagel time. The thing I hate about working with icing is it makes every surface so sticky. It's so annoying. Right. What I'm starting off doing is boiling a big pot of hot water. So if you've never made bagels before, you basically want to do what they call like a bath. I believe that's what they call it. I can't remember the terminology off my head, but you basically want to bathe them so then it gets them a bit more of like a softer, chewier consistency. So what I do is boil in that one, and then they typically use honey, but I'm not a massive fan of honey, but I'm just going to use golden syrup. Once again, do I measure it? No. I just pour in how much I feel like I could do with. There we go. I'm going to wait for this to start bubbling away, and then we could put in our first bagel. You want to grab your dough. If it has closed up a bit, just give it a little bit, another roll around, and then pop in the water. So I'm doing 2 at a time, and what you basically want to do is have them bathe in the water on each side for a minute. So I'll do a minute now, and then after the minute I'll flip them over, do another minute. Go, so that's been a minute, and I'm just gonna flip it over. Make sure to drain them. So I'm using a spatula with holes to release some of the water. And put it on the tray. I feel like this one's gonna have a funny shape. You basically want the consistency to be almost a little bit doughy. Perfect. So what I am now doing is doing an egg wash over the bagels. So you could just do a single egg wash, or you can then use it to help any toppings stick on top. This will just help it give it a bit more of a golden brown look and texture. Forgot to say in that time that I've been boiling them. I have preheated the oven to 220 degrees. Yeah. So for these ones, I'm thinking, I might do 2 with just poppy seeds. I love poppy seeds. These 2 I might do multiple seeds, so I'm going to do some poppy seeds with it, as well as some others. So it's like a mixed seed. Some sunflower. I love sunflower seeds. Sunflower and pumpkin are so good. I like this. It's at the end of the packet, so they're a lot more crunch. But a bit more smaller as well. Then sesame. I'm going to do a few on the other ones with just sesame also. Then pumpkin back on these. If anything wants a stick, who wants a stick? Sooner. Try that again. I might have to manually put these ones on. There we go. Now these are going to go in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 25. We'll see how much they brown up and crisp up. Right, let's go finish off these cupcakes. Oh, they look so good. The icing tastes amazing as well. I've definitely done a lot more than I probably should have done with the icing, but that's fine. I tend to usually do this one when I do it in a loaf, so I think it absorbs it a little bit more, but here you go. Now, one little trick I have is if you've got a core, to core out the middle bit so it'll seep a bit more of the icing in, but I haven't got one. So what I'm just going to do is use the end of a spoon. Just create a small bit of a hole. You can do the cut method where you basically cut it up and then put it in, but I ain't fussing too much. I don't think friends and family are gonna have a whinge about anything with like just a random hole in the middle. I'm hoping the icing's gonna be white enough that it will glaze over a bit more. But that will basically help seep some of the icing through. So instead of it being a layer on top, it will just add a bit more moisture. I've just given this another whisk. Pour in the icing on top of the case. Smells so good. It is such like a relaxing smell. You get the lovely citrus of the lemon, and then you get the very floral calming tones of the lavender, and it's not too overpowering as well. It's absolutely beautiful. Such a beautiful combination, and I would highly recommend, if you like both those like flavors, definitely give this combination a go. To go a bit more decorative, you can add a bit more of the dried lavender on top, or a bit of more lemon zest. There we go. And there's my lemon and lavender cupcakes. Honestly, if you want a lovely, lovely summer treat this year, definitely give these a go. That is cakes and bagels all done. So let's do a little bit of a taste test before I start making my pizzas. Trying to decide which bagel to go for. Maybe I go plain. Let's go plain. So I've allowed them to cool down a little more now. That's what it looks like. I'm so excited. I haven't had a bagel in so long. So long. And I haven't made them in a long while as well. So. Let's give this a try. Doing the 50-50 really does give it like a nice, like, different consistency. That's lovely. I think proving it overnight and doing the multiple stretch and folds has definitely helped it with the consistency and everything. Oh, that's so good. Oh, I'm so excited to try the other ones. Oh, honestly, there was nothing better than homemade bread. I can't wait to tell my partner to try this in a minute. And let's try one of the little cakes. I'm saying that as if I've not tried them before, but still, you just gotta try your treats. I'll do half and then I'll have the rest later on, or like I said, I'll give it to my partner. Don't you see how light and spongy it is, and dare I say very moist. Let's go. I cannot tell you how proud I am of these. One cake I made previously that was one of my, I would say was one of my favorite cakes, and it's definitely up there with the best cakes I've ever made. Is I did orange and Earl Grey. Again, exceptional. The Earl Grey icing, and then you got the citrus of the orange. And it could actually work with the lemon very, very well. But this is just so different in comparison. Like you got, like I said, the herbalness of the Earl Grey, but the lavender, it's so subtle. But like I said, you just get that brief floral nose with the lemon. That it's just so good, so good. Like, I'm seriously so proud of these. So proud of these. Right, let's go make some pizzas. Here's my homemade pizza dough, which has been defrosted. I took it out this morning, and look how much is risen. Oh, it just looks so fluffy. Let's have a look at the tomato sauce as well. Okay, still a little bit icy from what I can see, but I'm going to put it all in a pan anyway, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then I'm going to let it simmer, so then it'll reduce it down a bit more as well.